The ground shook with every blast. Smoke and fire covered the once green valley. Human soldiers shouted, ran, and fell. Their weapons were useless against the alien beasts. No one expected the beast clans to strike with such force. No one knew they were this strong. Lieutenant Mark Reeds crawled behind a broken supply crate, blood running down his arm. He couldn't hear anything except ringing in his ears. His team was gone. The entire base had fallen in less than 15 minutes. One moment they were setting up camp, next they were running for their lives. Mark clutched his side. He had taken a hit. Not fatal, but enough to slow him. He looked up and saw her. She stood tall through the smoke like a shadow from a dream. She was unlike any alien he had seen. Over 7 feet tall, with fur-covered arms and legs, a long tail moving behind her, and glowing silver eyes that locked on his. Her beauty was not like anything human. She was wild, dangerous, and stunning. For a second, Mark thought she was going to kill him. She had a long spear in one hand, and her claws were sharp, but she didn't move to strike. She dropped her weapon. Then, without a word, she walked forward and knelt beside him. Her clawed hand gently touched his face. Mark tried to speak but coughed blood. She growled softly, something between a purr and a warning. Then she picked him up, lifted him in her strong arms like he weighed nothing. His heart pounded. Why wasn't she killing him? Why was she carrying him? Around them, her people marched. More beast women, just like her, tall, fierce, armored. Some looked at Mark with confusion. Others growled. One even stepped forward with her spear raised, but the one carrying him growled back deep and loud. The others stopped. She was in charge. A leader. She carried Mark across the burning field. Bodies, broken machines, shattered weapons lay everywhere. The air smelled of smoke and blood. Mark faded in and out of consciousness. The pain, the heat, and the shock were too much. But he kept seeing her face, those glowing eyes, that calm expression. They reached a strange-looking craft. It looked like a large beast made of metal and bone. She stepped inside and laid him gently on a fur-covered bench. He noticed her hands shaking slightly. Mark blinked. Why are you helping me? She didn't answer. Instead, she took a glowing stone from her belt and pressed it to his wound. A warm light spread across his body. The pain faded just a little. Mark looked around. You're not going to kill me, are you? She looked at him for a long time. Then she spoke in deep, clear words. No, you are mine now. Before he could ask what that meant, the ship rose into the air. From above, Mark could see the battlefield. Fires burned in every direction. Nothing human was left. Only wreckage. And he, the last survivor, was being carried away by the enemy leader, an alien Beastwoman, who had spared his life and called him hers. He didn't know if he had been captured or saved, but deep down, he felt something strange. He wasn't afraid anymore. He was curious. Mark woke up to the sound of growling voices and soft footsteps. His body felt strange, too light, too warm. He blinked his eyes open and found himself lying on thick black fur inside a large stone tent. The walls weren't made of metal but some kind of carved rock, and they glowed faintly with blue lines that moved like veins. He tried to sit up, but something soft pushed him back gently. It was her again. The same alien Beastwoman who had carried him from the battlefield. She looked down at him, her glowing silver eyes calm, her lips slightly parted like she was studying him. Her armor was gone, replaced with a smooth dark robe made of fur and cloth. Even without armor, she looked powerful. Her body was tall, strong, yet graceful, beautiful in a way that made Mark's heart beat faster. You live, she said in deep, slow English. Mark sat up slowly. His wounds were healed, but a faint scar remained where the glowing stone had touched him. Yeah, I think I do. Why? She tilted her head. You are mine. He stared at her. What does that mean? She didn't answer. Instead, she stepped aside. Outside the tent, dozens of Beastwomen stood in formation. All of them stared at Mark. Their eyes glowed like hers. They whispered in their language, their claws tapping the ground. Some growled. Others nodded slowly. Mark's heart raced. What is this place? She spoke. This is our sacred valley. You were brought here as a gift. A gift? To me, she said. You fought bravely. You did not run. You did not scream. I passed out, he said, confused. She didn't laugh, but a small smile touched her lips. Still, you are not like the others. The others died in fear. Mark didn't know what to say. He looked around. There were weapons stacked near. The wall-long spears, strange bows, and curved blades. This was clearly a warrior camp. He turned back to her. What do you want from me? She stepped closer. You will stay here. I will protect you. You are under my mark. She raised her hand and showed him the same glowing stone she used on his wound. A strange symbol glowed faintly on his chest, now barely visible through his shirt. Mark touched it and felt a soft warmth like it was alive. What is this? Our bond, she said simply. I didn't agree to anything. It doesn't matter. Mark stood up, now feeling stronger. He looked around at the other Beastwomen. They were watching him carefully, like wolves watching a strange animal enter their pack. Do they all think I'm yours now? Yes. Can I leave? She looked away. You could. But the others will not allow it. Not after the mark. Not after what I did. What did you do? I carried you from the battlefield, she said softly, in front of the clan, and it is our law. When a warrior saves a male in battle ... she claims him. Mark blinked. Claims him? She met his eyes. You belong to me now. He stepped back. That's insane. It is sacred, she said. One of the Beastwomen outside stepped into the tent. She was younger, smaller, but still strong. She looked at Mark, then spoke in their language to the leader. Her voice was tensed as the tall Beastwoman turned to Mark. The clan is not happy. Some say you are weak. Some say I broke the law. Mark swallowed. What happens if they don't accept me? They will challenge me, and if they win, they take you. Mark went silent. She looked at him again. But they won't win. Outside, the whispers turned into roars. A challenge had been made, and Mark realized this wasn't over. It was just beginning. Drums began to beat outside the stone tent. Deep, slow thuds echoed across the valley like the heartbeat of something ancient. Mark stood near the entrance, confused and nervous. Beastwomen were gathering in a large open circle around a stone platform. Their eyes glowed in the twilight. Spears and swords reflected the firelight. The tall alien woman, his so-called protector, was tightening black leather straps across her arms and chest. Her claws flexed. Her long tail moved slowly behind her. Mark stepped closer. You're really going to fight them? She didn't look at him. Yes. How many? 3 challengers. One after the other. They want to test me. And what happens if they win? Her eyes met his. You are taken, or worse. Mark's mouth went dry. What happens to me? Some may keep you as a slave. Others may kill you to shame me. He stepped back. Are you serious? She moved to him and placed her hand on his chest where the glowing mark was. You are under my bond. I will not lose. Mark stared at her. He didn't know whether to feel protected or terrified. The crowd roared as the first challenger stepped onto the stone platform. She was taller than the leader. Her muscles were thick and her armor was darker. She had scars across her arms and a long spear in her hand. The leader turned to Mark. Stay here. Do not move. Then she walked into the arena. Mark watched in silence as the two Beastwomen circled each other. No words, just growls. The challenger moved fast, swinging the spear in wide arcs. But the leader dodged every move. She was like a shadow calm, sharp, beautiful in every motion. Then, with one strike, she knocked the spear away and slammed the challenger to the ground. The crowd howled. The second challenger was quicker twinswards. Fast feet, cruel smile. But again, the leader moved like a storm. She took a few hits but stayed standing. She broke one sword, then pinned the challenger to the floor with her foot. Blood hit the stone. The challenger growled and did not rise. Then came the third. This one was silent. Her body was thin, but her eyes were full of rage. Mark could feel it from the tent. Something was different about her. The leader stepped forward. The two circled each other longer this time. They didn't strike right away. They were waiting. Then the challenger leapt, claws flashing, teeth bared. They collided in the air, both roaring. Mark couldn't look away. The fight was brutal. They slammed into the stone, rolled, cut, and clawed. The leader's shoulder bled. The challenger's cheek was torn. The sound of impact echoed around the valley. But slowly, the leader gained the upper hand. She moved behind her challenger and slammed her down hard. The crowd went silent. The leader stepped back, panting. Her body was scratched, bleeding but still standing. The other Beastwoman didn't move. Then the crowd roared again, louder than before. The leader walked back to Mark. Her breathing was heavy. Her arms were bloody, but her eyes were calm. "No one will take you," she said. Mark looked at her, stunned. "You ... You fought all of them for me?" She nodded. "You are under my mark." They challenged it. They failed. Mark didn't know what to say. "Why are you doing this?" She looked away. "You don't understand yet, but you will." That night, a feast was held. Fires burned high. Strange music played. Mark sat beside her while the Beastwoman stared, whispered, and nodded. She leaned toward him. "Now the clan respects the bond. And what does that make me?" She stared at the fire. "A symbol." Mark looked around. He had come here as a broken soldier. Now he was something else. Not a prisoner. Not a guest. Something far more dangerous. Something sacred. The fires burned low as the night stretched on. Beastwomen danced around the flames, chanting in a strange language. Some wore painted masks. Others painted their arms with ash and red dye. The whole camp smelled like smoke, spice, and something wild. Mark sat beside the tall alien warrior who had fought for him. She had changed into a dark ceremonial robe. Her hair was braided with silver beads, and a necklace made of sharp teeth hung around her neck. She handed him a cup. The liquid inside was thick and glowing faintly. Mark sniffed it. It smelled sweet, but strong. "What is this?" he asked. "A gift," she said. "It will not harm you." He drank. The warmth hit him instantly. His mind relaxed, but his body felt stronger. His heart beat slower, like the world around him had paused. The Beastwoman looked into the fire. "You still do not understand why." "I saved you." Mark turned to her. "No, I don't," she nodded. "We are born for battle, for blood. But not only that. Our people believe in balance. Death must be followed by life, destruction by protection. And I'm supposed to be what? Your piece?" She looked at him. "You are more. You carry something we lost long ago." Mark frowned. "What do you mean?" She reached into a pouch and pulled out a thin, folded cloth. She opened it slowly. Inside was a photo, worn, damaged. But Mark recognized it. It was a picture of Earth soldiers. One of them was a young man who looked like Mark, maybe a relative. In the photo, he stood beside an alien girl. Much younger. Much smaller. "That's from the First Contact War," Mark whispered. "How did you get this?" "That girl," she said softly, was me. Mark stared at her. She continued. A long time ago, your kind came here not with fire, but with gifts, with medicine, with peace. He protected me from raiders. He gave me this photo, told me to remember what kindness looks like. Mark took the photo. His hands shook. He was my first protector, she said. You remind me of him. Mark felt cold. You saved me. Because I look like him? No, she said firmly. I saved you because I saw the same strength in your eyes. The same courage in a hopeless moment. She stood. But the clan doesn't care about the past. They only follow power. Now they see you as a symbol of it. Mark stood slowly. And what does that make me now? A trophy? No, she said. A king, Mark laughed. I'm not a king. You are now. The next morning the drums beat again. But this time, not for battle. Mark was led to the center of the camp. The Beastwoman stood in a wide circle. Armor polished, weapons raised in respect. The tall Beastwoman, his protector, stood beside him. A high priestess stepped forward. Her eyes were blind, covered by silver cloth. She raised a carved staff and spoke in a loud voice. Mark didn't understand the language. But when she touched his chest with the staff, the glowing mark burned slightly. A deep hum echoed through the valley. Then, all the Beastwomen knelt. Every single one. Mark looked at the tall warrior beside him. She knelt too. You are chosen. Now, she said. I didn't ask for this, Mark whispered. She nodded. But you earned it. The days passed quickly in the valley. Mark was no longer just the outsider. Beastwomen now greeted him with a bow or a hand to their chest. Some brought him gifts, weapons, furs, or glowing stones. They called him something in their language. That sounded like Heratakvar, which the tall Beastwoman told him meant claimed flame, a rare title. One given only to a male who was both bonded and honored, but respect came with responsibility. He could no longer walk the camp freely. 2 guards followed him at all times. And the warrior who had saved him, her name was revealed to him. Now, Karina stayed close by his side day and night. Karina trained every morning. Her body was covered in sweat and dust before the sun even reached the trees. Mark began joining her. She didn't go easy on him. She threw him to the ground, shouted in their language, forced him to learn how to block, to strike, to move. You must fight like one of us, she said. Not just wear the crown. I don't want a crown, Mark muttered. She knocked him down again. But he learned. His body grew stronger, his reflexes sharper, his mind calmer. The nightmares of the battlefield began to fade, until one evening, a Beastwoman scout returned in a panic. Karina met her at the edge of the camp. Mark followed. The scout dropped to one knee, speaking fast and out of breath. Karina's face darkened. What's going on? Mark asked. Karina turned. To him, humans. A patrol ship landed near the river. They are searching the valley. Mark froze. My people? She nodded. Soldiers, survivors, maybe more. A mix of emotions hit him: hope, fear, confusion. Do they know I'm alive? He asked. Karina looked unsure. They carry your image, a wanted symbol. Some say you are missing. Others say you betrayed them. That's not true, Mark said. I believe you, she said, but they may not. He paced back and forth. I need to go to them. Explain what happened. No, Karina said sharply. If you leave the valley, the clan may see it as betrayal. They accepted you because I protected you. If you walk away, they will see you as a traitor. Mark looked at her. So what? I stay here forever? Live in a stone camp while my people think I'm dead or worse? Karina stepped closer. You are not a prisoner, Mark. You are free. But you must choose carefully. He stared at the sky. The stars were starting to shine. "I never asked to be part of this, but now you are," she said gently. "And you are part of me." He looked at her. She wasn't just a protector anymore. She had become something more: his shield, his strength, maybe even something he couldn't name yet. He touched the mark glowing on his chest. It pulsed softly. "I'll speak to them," he said. "Let me go to them alone." Karina's expression turned hard. "If they take you, I will burn their ship." "They're not all like that," Mark said. "Let me try." That night, he left the valley with Karina watching from the shadows. He walked toward the silver lights in the trees, toward the sound of human voices and gunfire in the distance, toward the people he once called home. Not knowing if they would welcome him back or shoot him on sight. Mark stepped through the trees with his hands raised. His shirt was torn. His boots were worn. But the glowing mark on his chest still burned faintly, visible in the moonlight. Up ahead, bright lights flashed. Human soldiers in black armor stood behind metal barricades, their rifles aimed. One of them shouted, "Stop! Identify yourself." Mark raised his voice. "Lieutenant Mark Reeds, serial number 2904. Another soldier stepped forward. Her eyes widened. "Lieutenant Reeds? He's alive." The camp burst into action. A dozen soldiers surrounded him, weapons lowered but hands still tight. A man in a gray uniform came forward, an officer with tired eyes and a deep scar across his jaw. "You've been missing for weeks," the officer said. "Where have you been?" Mark hesitated. "Carried off the battlefield." "By one of them." The officer frowned. "Them?" "The Beastwoman," Mark said. "But she saved me." "She?" the officer said coldly. "You were captured?" Mark shook his head. "No, I was healed, protected. Their leader Karina, she risked her life for me." "Son, do you have any idea what you're saying?" The officer growled. "They're the enemy. We lost 2 squads near that valley. If they've brainwashed you—" "No one brainwashed me," Mark snapped. "I saw them fight, yes, but they have honor, they have laws. And they're not what we think." The officer's face turned hard. "Did you give them intel?" "No. Are you under their control?" "No," Mark said. "But I carry their—" "Mark, it's a symbol of trust." One of the soldiers stepped closer. "Sir, his biometrics are clean. No implants, no infection." "But he's bonded." The officer's face turned pale. "That's war magic, ancient tech. You've been claimed." Mark didn't answer. The officer's voice turned colder. "Then you're a liability. You might even be a threat." Mark stepped back. "I came here to talk, to explain, not to be treated like an enemy." Suddenly, a distant howl echoed through the trees. The soldiers raised their rifles. From the shadows, Karina stepped forward alone. Her armor glowed in the moonlight. Her eyes locked on Mark. Several soldiers pointed their guns at her. "Don't!" Mark shouted. "She's not here to fight." The officer didn't lower his weapon. "If she takes one step closer," Karina spoke, "I only came for him. If he chooses to stay, I leave in peace. If he returns, we vanish. Forever." Mark looked between them. 2 worlds. One future. He could go back. To Earth, to the uniform. To the old rules, or forward. To something new, strange, wild, but honest. He looked at the officer. "What will happen if I stay with her?" The officer didn't blink. "You'll be marked. A deserter. You'll never come home." Mark turned to Karina. She said nothing. She didn't beg. She simply waited. Mark took a breath. Then he stepped toward her. 1 step. Then 2. The guns didn't fire. Karina reached for his hand. He took it. Without a word, they vanished into the trees. The officer cursed behind them, but Mark didn't. Look back. In the valley, the Beastwomen were waiting. not as warriors, but as his people now. Karina looked at him, her voice calm. You chose. Mark nodded. I chose the truth. And the fires of the clan burned high again. But this time, not for battle. This time they burned for a king.